You guys look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. We welcome to our virtual gathering, and today we have our CEO and co-founder Jean Ketcham, who I'd like to introduce, and she will then introduce our guests. So, good morning, Jeannie.
Good morning, Pat. Thank you. Well, we're very, very excited today because we have some really special guests with us. We have Lisa Murphy, who is co-director of the St. Joseph Workers Program, and we have MacKenzie OKane, who was a St. Joseph worker in last year, 2017. And a lot of people do not know what this is, Lisa. So can you start out by telling us about the St. Joseph Worker Program and exactly what it is?
Sure.
And you're in Minneapolis. So you're in Minneapolis, I'm in Florida, but you have it in different areas, don't you? It's not just in Minneapolis?
We do. First, I want to thank you both for having us, and giving us this opportunity to talk about the program. So thanks for letting us be with you today. Yes, we are in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the St. Joseph Worker Program is a year of service program for women ages 21 to 30. So they live in the Twin Cities. We have a house in Minneapolis that they live in community, and then they work a 36-hour work week with nonprofit or social service agencies here in the Twin Cities. And they spend a year working for those organizations, living in community. We support them in the housing, transportation. They get a monthly stipend. We cover their food budget while they do that year of service. And we are also, to get to the other part of your question, we are also in LA and Orange, California, and in Queens, New York.
Oh, wow. Okay. In Kinsey, how did you find out? It's MacKenzie, right?
I answered to both. I've got a million different nicknames.
Okay, sorry. Well, tell us how. So you did this last year. That is so exciting.
Yeah.
So how did you find out about it?
I was raised in St. Paul and then moved to Minneapolis when I was a teenager. And so, just hopping across the Mississippi River wasn't like a big transition. It's fine. Right. And then I went to Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is a private Jesuit college. And I, in my senior year, was figuring out that I wasn't quite ready to go to grad school. So I went to a year of service fair on my campus because I was thinking that a year of service would be really good, allowing me to gain some practical job skills and kind of return to my roots in service that I kind of had drifted away from being a busy biology major, not having enough time to really give back in communities as much as I used to. And I had this amazing connection with a St. Joseph worker that was tabling for the St. Joseph Worker Program. So I think she had done it 2 years previous, and she was helping the program because she lived in the Ohio area. And I saw the Twin Cities and I was like, oh, that'd be so cool to get closer to my family again and to really return to service roots. So I was asking her about placement sites and the opportunities that are available to St. Joseph workers. And then I called my mom, of course, as I'm walking out of the fair. I was like, I just had an awesome conversation. I really want to get into this program. And she says, what's the name of that again? Like the St. Joseph Worker Program. She's like, honey, your grandparents have been donating to that program for the last 10 years. And they know the sisters who started it because those are their friends. And I was like, what? I didn't know my grandparents are so cool. So I called my grandpa and he was like, oh yeah, my friends that are Sisters of St. Joseph were involved at the beginning of that. And they, have let it go to other leadership now. But Sister Suzanne Herder at the time was still involved. And so I was able to meet with her for tea when I was home on Christmas break. And she really sold me on the program, and she had been a roommate of my grandma's best friend, Sister Dolores.
Oh my God.
So it was this huge thing. And the second that I realized that one conversation with Jenna, who was a St. Joseph worker, not the Jenna who helped with this call, but
right.
That prompted me to call my mom, to call my grandpa, to meet Sister Suzanne, to fill out the application to being a St. Joseph worker was this huge work of fate and the universe and just everything I was destined to do. And I had the most transformative year in the program. And I know that it's exactly what I was meant to do last year. And I'm so glad that I did it.
Oh my gosh, what a story. Lisa, does that happen to everybody that goes through it? I mean, that is really some kind of story. And of course, the whole family thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what are you going to do with it now, MacKenzie? Do you just move on to what you were going to do before that, and you've had that year of experience, or?
Not quite. I moved into a full-time job search after the program ended, and I did a little bit of traveling. And then I am now working as a front desk personnel at a medical clinic in the Twin Cities area and saving some money for grad school. So my next step will be looking at grad school opportunities. I'm really interested in public health, maternal child health, and vector-borne diseases like Zika virus. So being a biology major and having a social justice oriented heart, I really like to work in those intersections of science and social justice issues and trying to resolve how healthcare is a basic human right and access to healthcare.
Lisa, how many people do you get a year? How many people do you pick? And how do you pick them?
Yeah. Well, it varies from year to year. So this year is a little bit smaller than last year, but we just never know what's going to come through the door in terms of applications. So you never know when somebody's going to have an experience like MacKenzie and just say, this is it. But we do a lot of recruiting on college campuses. And just through networks of, women's spaces and sisters and their connections. And we really encourage, parents, friends of family friends, grandparents, aunts and uncles, that kind of thing, who know young women who are looking for something to say, look at this. This may be a great opportunity and a great year for you to combine your passions, take some time off from school maybe, or to use what you've learned in school. So we really do try and connect with young women in a lot of different ways.
So tell us exactly what they do. I mean, so they have a whole year, they live in the house. What exactly do they do on a day-to-day basis, or what's?
Well, it varies somewhat, and I'll start, but I'll let MacKenzie also kind of fill in on that. They have a 36-hour work week. So usually Monday to Friday, they're going to their placement site, their work site. On Mondays, we have a practice called Sharing of the Heart, which is the practice the sisters do of spiritual reflection on what's happening in my life, what am I being called to. So we do that with the women. They also have a community night where they do something together just for fun and just to be together. They also, in a typical week, will have a house meeting, just to cover who's grocery shopping, what's on the menu, and what needs to be on the grocery list, or, taking care of some things like somebody's going to be out of town for the weekend, and just so everybody else knows that they're going to visit, their family for the weekend. And then, they also have networking that they do. We ask them to do one-on-ones to network with people who are maybe in careers they're interested in. Once a month, my co-director or I will meet with each of the women just to check in to see if everything's going okay for them or what support they need. So they have a pretty busy week. But what am I missing, MacKenzie?
I think that's a great description of all of the moving pieces and cogs in the life of a St. Joseph worker. I can speak to my own work experience and a little bit about my placement site, if that would be helpful. So I really felt passionate to work. I felt a call to work with new Americans in my St. Joseph worker year. And one of the ministries of the CSJs is a transitional home called Saris, an Oasis for Women.
Yes.
And we primarily house immigrant women and asylum seekers that for a million reasons or another are not they don't have access to housing, or they don't have safe housing, or their status is preventing them from working, which is preventing them from being able to support themselves in one way or another. So what I did there was employment counseling and jobs counseling and community involvement work with the women, trying to kind of provide some fun activities to build community within Sarah's, and also meeting with the women one-on-one when they needed a different job, or they finally got their work permit, so now they're looking for their first job in the States. So it was really, really, really just the best work that I could have been doing last year. And I felt so great to be doing it in a time that was kind of a volatile situation and rhetoric surrounding refugees and asylees and immigrants in general. So,
well, yeah, and explain. Yeah, explain to people, Sarah's, that is part of the immigration. I mean, they're all immigrants, right? In Sarah's.
Yes. So
yes,
it's in its founding years, it wasn't specific to immigrant women. They've always felt a need to give housing and provide housing to those who are in the most need. And at this time in the Twin Cities, asylum seekers are in greatest need of housing, just for a number of reasons. They won't have the same access to shelter resources that someone with a citizenship or a green card or other types of immigration status would have. So that's what we find, that the population that we're serving is working out for us.
Oh my gosh, that had to have made you feel so good. Oh, you know, our heart goes out to those people so much. Lisa, how long have you been doing this?
I've been with the program for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I came in when Suzanne Herder, the previous director, she's a sister of St. Joseph, and she was chosen to be part of a leadership team for the province, which opened up this space. I had taught high school previous to this in a school that was founded by the Sisters of St. Joseph. So, so when this opened up, this idea of doing service, you know, I taught high school, so with a bit older population of women, I was like, I know those sisters, and I really like what they do. So yeah, it's been a great transition for me, and a great way to strengthen that connection to this community.
Well, and like I said earlier, Aging But Dangerous has been connected with the St. Joseph Sisters of Carondelet Ministries ever since we started, and you all are part of the ministries. Yes. And Sarah's is part of the ministries. So there's different areas going on, just so people kind of understand, and they do such good work, and those sisters. But so back to I don't know, I keep asking, like how many at one point, like how many women would you have in the house? I mean, are we talking 20 or?
At the St. Joseph Worker House or at Sarah's?
Yeah, St. Joseph Worker House.
At the St. Joseph Worker House, the current house that we're in, we can house up to 12.
Oh, okay. So an intimate group. Yeah. It
is. As one way we describe ourselves is small but fierce.
Yeah, but MacKenzie, you must have made lifelong friends.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually, after this, going to hang out with one of them.
Yeah.
She is.
What?
Her name is Sophie, and she was a St. Joseph worker with me. And she is currently getting her master's in art history at the Cordal Institute in London. And she's in town because her family lives in St. Paul for the holidays. So I'm going to spend the day with her after this.
Yeah. What a great experience. Pat, do you have any questions?
Well, thank you, Jeannie. My question is, if people want to learn more about the St. Joseph Worker Program, where should they go?
You should go to stjosephworkers.org, so .org. We have a website that talks about what the year is like, the 4 values we build our program around. They can see the placement sites. Sarah's Oasis, where MacKenzie was one of them. But we also have, placement sites in healthcare, in advocacy work, in education, doing campus ministry, working in other agencies with people experiencing homelessness or other aspects of immigrant and refugee work as well. So we have a broad variety of placements. You can even work in a car repair shop.
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
It is. It's a great program that provides low-income people affordable car repairs so that they can continue to get to their jobs.
So, Lisa, if they go to that website, will they be able to learn about the programs in the other 2 locations across the nation?
Yes, we provide links to the other locations as well.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So it'll link right to their websites as well.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
And so on the website is about the car place?
Yes.
Okay,
you can see the position description for the St. Joseph worker who would be there. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Gosh. Yeah.
I being from Minneapolis, in Minnesota, I always tend to say only in Minnesota, but I know that's not true. But Minnesota does so many good things. But we cover the nation, and I know they're doing that in other places too. But boy, I tell you, there's just lots of good stuff going on there, and you guys are so much a part of it.
And it's been a great experience working with young women like MacKenzie and Sophie, who she just mentioned. It's a great program, and it's a great way for people to live out that passion for justice by working in a lot of different areas.
Now, is it only for young people? Can older women do it for a year?
It's ages 21 to 30.
Oh, okay. So it is for young women. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Because there are a lot of older women that'd like to do that, I think.
We'll have to talk to the sisters about starting a parallel program.
Starting one for a little bit older.
Exactly.
Well, perfect. Well, I think we've reached the end of our time. I'm just so grateful for all of you to do this today. Thank you so much. And we will be in touch. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. It was great.